My brothers and sisters in Christ, in the readings at daily Mass throughout Holy Week, we get the strong theme of betrayal. And that is, as we hear different elements of the Last Supper and the betrayal narrative from different evangelists. Today's passage highlights betrayal through two different lenses, and that is of Judas and of Peter. And I think this pairing is an important one that is worthy of our time in prayer during this Holy Week, as we contemplate not only the passion of the Lord, the great price he pays out of love for us, but also the price, the debt that we individually owe. And that connects to our sin as our own form of betrayal. The reason I think the linkage between Judas and Peter is an important one to consider is to look at the commonality that the two apostles share versus the one thing that sets them apart. We look at Peter and we know that Peter is flawed, but we think very positively of Peter for who he goes on to be, while most have very negative connotation of Judas. But when we look in the context of the events up to the passion and death of Jesus, the two really aren't that different. The two of them are both apostles. They've both been called by Jesus from their former ways of life. They follow him. Both of them have witnessed all that Jesus has said. They have witnessed his teaching, his miracles. They have been companions of his on the road. Both of them, at the end, when his hour comes, both of them betray him, albeit in different ways. So we see Judas will go forth and more overtly betray Jesus through turning him over for his arrest. But as Peter points out at the end, after Judas goes and night falls, as John symbolically paints the darkness that is with Judas now, but Peter himself sets himself forward as one who would never betray. And Jesus says, "Oh, but you will betray me. You'll deny me 3 times before the cock crows." And as we heard in Luke's account on Palm Sunday, that as soon as this happens, Jesus looks at Peter as the cock crows, and Peter begins to weep bitterly and runs outside. So to this point, we can find that Judas and Peter, each in their different way, has betrayed Jesus. Different motivations, yes. Different actions, yes. But both as disciples have betrayed. Both of them feel very bad about their betrayal. Peter weeps bitterly. We know how his heart is rent. But as the story goes on, captured in the Gospel of Judas, Judas too regrets what he has done. We're told that eventually he goes back and throws the money that he got from them back into the temple. He realizes, and he is filled with remorse for what he has done. The one thing that sets them apart is what comes next. And this is important for us because we can see that all of us, regardless of our different forms that are those sins that are unique to each of us, all of us as disciples betray. We're all sinners. All of us contribute to Jesus hanging on that cross. So, as we come to grips with our own sins, as we should during this Lenten period, as our hearts are moved with contrition and change, we're also left to grapple with the reality. We are sinners. We have and we betray. So what makes all the difference? 2 things. Of course, the love of Jesus, but the love of Jesus is offered. It's one end of what's offered. What is the one thing that makes a difference on our part? And that is what we do with our sinfulness in light of Jesus' love. Judas despairs. Judas is filled with shame, and he ultimately takes his own life tragically. He sees no hope, and so he ends his own life. Peter is reconciled. Jesus' love extends forth, and Jesus did not lack love for Judas. But Peter is reconciled. For all he has done, he is renewed in Christ. And when Jesus renews his call, follow me, as we hear in John chapter 1:21, Peter goes forth and follows Jesus. And so the difference is not in who was a bigger sinner, but who approached out of love of Jesus to be reconciled. Judas's shame was turned in on himself. Peter's guilt was out of a sense of relationship. His heart hurt for the love, for the hurt he had caused to Jesus. And therefore, at the first opportunity, he was reconciled, whereas Judas's self-loathing consumed him. This is an important message for each of us, that this Lenten period has revealed, yes, we are sinners, each and every one of us, but what comes next makes all the difference. Will you and I be reconciled into the love of Jesus, who spares no expense for us on that cross? May God bless you all.